Okay, Chris, ask your question again,
Okay,
please.
how could they possibly go around and just give everybody who's parked here a ticket? Because number one, not everybody parked here is here. Number two, not everybody's hearing either. That's almost like as bad as a red light camera. That's the vehicle, but can you prove it was me?
If you could just introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, I'm Attorney Joshua Prince of PrinceLawOffices.com. Yes, you're absolutely right. And the difference, though, with a red light camera is you have committed a crime. It's taking a picture after the fact.
Some of them don't get the driver, so they don't know who it is. Really.
Right, but they get the license plate in that. In this occasion, we have the police going around, taking down people's license plate numbers, and when I asked them what the purpose was, they are calling into the JNet system, running each person's plate without any reasonable suspicion, and the officer admitted that to me over there before the cars, so that they have a database of all those people who were in this proximity, not necessarily in the park, but in this area. And then what they are intending to do is they video recorded everyone who was here. And about a week ago, an article was posted in the Reading Eagle, which is out in Berks County, it's their newspaper, that said that the Pennsylvania State Police and other law enforcement agencies are using this JNet system, which has existed, it's a crime database system, but now they are taking DMV photos, injecting them into this database, and then using them against the videos for facial recognition. So you have people who have done nothing criminal having their photograph now imported into the JNet system. Worse than that, Berks County Sheriff Weeknecht, who's a great supporter of our Second Amendment rights, came on and said that he is not allowing access to the license to carry firearms photographs that are applied. However, he's not the sole retainer of those photographs. The Pennsylvania State Police have copies of all those photographs. I can only assume that the Pennsylvania State Police are including all of those photographs into the JNet system, and that's actually a violation of state law, because it says all information submitted in relation to a license to carry firearms is confidential, and it's a felony to disclose it.
Okay.
About that before. The sheriff said, screw you.
I'm sorry, Josh, I almost did it. Okay, I asked you a question earlier, right after we got back from filming them writing down license plates, how they can know who was actually at the rally and who might have been over at Sullivan's having lunch. Okay, now you've answered that question. Now riddle me this, if you would. How do they know which one of us that were here were carrying firearms, other than the ones that were obvious? How do they know I'm carrying a firearm if I am?
Right, and I believe that they're not going to know that. I believe what their tactic's going to be is go through the video, use facial recognition to identify any person that was open carrying or whose firearm for some period of time was displayed openly. At that point, they're then going to issue a citation. I do not believe that they are going to take any further action. However, there is a concern because the police do have access to the license to carry firearms licensing information, but it's offline. They have to call in the dispatch and request a specific query. Could they go, after identifying all these people with license plates, and then query that system to see do they have a license to carry, and then make an assumption that they must have been there carrying? They could, but they're going to be jeopardizing themselves at that point to a 1983 action for civil rights deprivation.
But that's just it. So if I get a citation in the mail simply for being here, I'm not openly carrying a firearm. I may or may not be carrying one at all. But if I get a citation for violating this unlawful ordinance, what is my recourse? And I ask that for anybody that is in this situation.
First, what's important to note is they have the burden of proof. They must establish that you violated the law.
Okay.
Second thing is you must plead not guilty. If you plead guilty to it, no matter what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court says or does, it will not affect you. You are guilty of that crime. So it's important to plead not guilty and then either find counsel or basically take the not guilty plea and argue it before the magisterial district judge.
Okay, Josh, with your permission, we're going to play this video, the audio portion of it, on our radio program tonight. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely fine.
Thank you for your time, sir.
So
My pleasure.
basically, we show up in court, hey, not guilty. Can you prove let us open carry. All you can prove is I was here. That's it. So they basically are dead in the water right
Well,
there.
at that point, they're going to have to try and introduce a video
showing
you open or photographs or some evidence actually depicting that you were in the park and you were carrying a firearm. It doesn't matter if you were concealed carry because the ordinance doesn't change whether it's open or concealed, but they have the burden of establishing that you have firearms. The other thing that's important to note is the law enforcement officers are in violation of the statute because they came into the park with firearms, and there is no exception under the law for law enforcement officers. Additionally, there are 2 cannons in the park, which are firearms under the ordinance, and yet the city doesn't appear to care.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Special folks, I guess.